Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Charles. I want to welcome you guys to a brand new episode of Money in Sports. And I got a really interesting topic for you guys today. If this is your first time, I want to welcome you guys to the channel. But before I get into that, make sure you guys go ahead and hit the like button and check out the Dreamerspro Podcast in the description below. And also don't forget to subscribe to the Dreamerspro Short Clips channel, which will be linked in the description below. So the topic today is how Michael Jordan turned Nike into a cash cow. So that's what I want to get into in this video today. Now, all of you guys are fully aware of the docuseries that has been running on Netflix called The Last Dance docuseries, and it gave me some inspiration to want to talk about this topic of how Michael Jordan ended up turning Nike into a cash cow. So let me just get straight into it. First of all, let's talk a little bit about Nike and where they are today. Nike was founded in 1964, and originally the name of the company was actually called Blue Ribbon Sports. Now, in the early days of this company, they were actually what you would call a shoe company, a track and field company. They were more focused on athletes that ran track, and at that time, one would assume that these were the more popular athletes. But as time went on, they started to branch off into different type of sports, and then they ended up changing their name of the company to Nike, named after, I think, one of the Greek gods. And Phil Knight, the founder of the company, he was the one that decided to make that decision. Last time we checked, in 2018, Nike ended up making $36.39 billion in revenue. And Nike came a long way. But the question is, what happened? How did they end up getting to where they are today? And it all really started when Michael Jordan hit the scene. That's when Nike really blew up. So as I said before, Nike started off as a track and field kind of company. They made track shoes, and they were primarily trying to get their shoes worn by track and field stars. Now, as I said before, when Michael Jordan came into the NBA already had a shoe that they were sort of featuring for some of their biggest stars, which was Converse. Now, Converse in 1984 was the official NBA shoe, and their biggest stars were these Converse shoes, such as Magic Johnson, Larry Bird, and Dr. J. This was the featured shoe of the NBA. So coming into the NBA at that time, Converse was really dominating the market, so to speak. And they even did commercials with some of their stars wearing these shoes, because I think at the time the NBA must have had some deal with them. Now, when Michael Jordan burst onto the scene, Converse actually ended up telling Michael Jordan that, hey, listen, there's no way we're gonna, promote you more than we're already promoting Larry Bird and Magic Johnson. And at the time, ironically, Michael Jordan was a huge Adidas fan, and he liked wearing their shoes. He liked the way that they looked. But the only problem with Adidas at the time was that Adidas, they themselves admitted that they were not ready to start producing basketball shoes. That wasn't where, their strengths lied at the time. And they told MJ, listen, as much as we love you, and I'm sure as much as you love us, but unfortunately, we're not going to be able to give you the shoe that you want. Enter David Falk, who is the agent of Michael Jordan. And David Falk had obviously kept his ears to the ground and to the streets, hearing about all prospective deals that may come up that may be beneficial to his client, in this case, Michael Jordan. And he was the one that told Michael Jordan about Nike. And originally, MJ had no interest in signing with Nike. He wanted to be with Adidas, and he was even reluctant to even attend the meeting that that Nike had put in place to make their pitch to Michael Jordan. And Michael Jordan's parents were one of the people that told him, hey, listen, give these guys, hear them out, give them a chance, let's see what they have to say. And Michael Jordan, after listening to his agent and listening to his parents, he decided to sign with them. Now, the first deal that they gave him, which was unheard of at the time, was actually worth $250,000. And they decided that they were going to give Michael Jordan his own shoe. Literally give him his own shoe. And they decided that the name that they were going to call the shoe is Air Jordan. Now, the reason for this, for them saying, let's call it Air Jordan, was simply because of how Michael Jordan played basketball. Michael Jordan was he played with a lot of flair. He was very athletic. He was known to pull off a lot of spectacular dunks, especially seeing him in the dunk contest. So they thought that it would only be, apt that the name of his sneaker would be called Air Jordan. Little did they know at the time that this was going to turn into a global phenomenon. And as we're shooting this video in May 2020, it turns out that the highest selling shoe in the history of the NBA is actually the Jordan 11s. So it's funny how that all ended up working out. Now, when they started off with the shoe, they decided that they were going to name these shoes, they're going to name them in a chronological order, and they ended up calling the first rendition of these Air Jordans, they ended up calling them the Jordan 1s. Now, the interesting thing about this partnership with Michael Jordan and Nike had only hoped to make $3 million in sales by year number 4. So they went in with not a lot of expectations, but obviously they thought they were going to make some money with this partnership and having MJ be the face of their brand, hence the reason they gave him the $250,000 contract. It turned out, however, in year 1, they ended up having over $126 million in shoe sales. And immediately it turned into a global phenomenon because everyone wanted to have a pair of Air Jordans. Everyone wanted to be like Mike. And the more popular Michael Jordan became, the more successful he became, the more the shoes sold, and people just went crazy for these sneakers all around the world. Even up to the point where they ended up getting a Hollywood director in Spike Lee to be the person that ended up starting to shoot a lot of these commercials for these Air Jordans. And there's a lot of these iconic commercials that were shot by Spike Lee and Michael Jordan talking about these shoes and saying everybody wants to be like Mike. And what they understood was that with these type of shoes that they were doing, even Spike Lee at the time was featuring Air Jordans in a lot of his movies, which actually gave the shoe, a lot of appeal in urban demographics. So everyone felt like they needed to get this shoe. Now, this was all predicated on how well Michael Jordan played. Had Michael Jordan not been who he was, I don't believe there's any way in hell that the Air Jordans would have turned into what they are today. Now, to put all of this in perspective, Michael Jordan, for his career, he's a 6-time NBA champion, a 6-time finals MVP, a 5-time regular season MVP. He's been a 14-time All-Star. He's been a Defensive Player of the Year. He's led the league in steals 3 separate times. He won the Rookie of the Year in 1985. He won 2 slam dunk contests, one in 1987 and one in 1988. He's been on 9 all-first defensive teams, and he is widely regarded as the greatest basketball player of all time. For his career, Michael Jordan averaged 30.1 points a game, 6.2 rebounds, and 5.3 assists for his career. Had Michael Jordan not been super successful on the court, there's just no way that the Jordan sneakers would have been able to sell at the level that they did. Now, what ended up happening with Michael Jordan and Nike and the Air Jordans goes beyond the impact of just him and the shoe and the relationship with the Air Jordans and Nikes and Michael Jordan and that company, because what ended up happening is, as a residual effect of just how popular these shoes were, what Michael Jordan did for Nike was he made Nike cool. The cool factor is what ended up attracting a lot of world-renowned athletes all around the world. That is why you see today a lot of Nike athletes include Tiger Woods, include LeBron James, the late and great Kobe Bryant, Roger Federer, Cristiano Ronaldo, just to name a few, because Michael Jordan made that brand what it is. He made it so popular and so in vogue for so many athletes to want to sign with Nike because of the Air Jordans. Had there not been that partnership between Nike and Michael Jordan, I really doubt that all of these athletes that you see today that are currently under the Nike umbrella, I doubt a lot of them would have decided to go with this company and sign with Nike had Michael Jordan not been such an integral part of the success of this company. And today, as I said before, this company generates tens of billions of dollars per annum, and there's just no way to tell the story of Nike without talking about the impact that Michael Jordan had on that brand. And it all goes back to the deal that he ended up signing with Nike as a first rookie deal that for $250,000. And now if we look today, Nike pays Michael Jordan roughly $150 million per annum just because of the deal that he signed with them back when the company first started. I think no one can argue how lucrative of a deal this has been for Nike as well as Michael Jordan. So once again, if you guys enjoyed this episode, don't forget to hit the like button and hit the subscribe button and leave your thoughts and comments below if you own a pair of Jordans. And also, if you do own Jordans, let me know what your favorite pair of Jordans are in the description below. Once again, this is Charles here from Dreamerspro, wishing you guys an amazing day. Catch you guys on the next episode. Peace.